Happens with Rogan sometimes is he'll hear somebody that's on the dangerous end of the spectrum, and he'll just kind of soak it in.
And this is, I think this is a great point, and it's whose ever job who thinks that that information is dangerous, to fight to get their point of view out there to counter what they think is misinformation. You can't just deputize people to say he should have known better and he should have prosecuted that point.
But the reality is, John, is that it might be my job or the New York Times job or even your job, but I don't have the audience that Joe Rogan does.
Then get it.
Yeah,
then
well, get
people
it.
Who do, then go on that.
Jon Stewart just did the unthinkable. The left is in an uproar because he publicly defended conservatism, a stance that, for many progressives, seemed unimaginable. For years, some on the left have struggled to show basic compassion for conservatives, treating their views as if they were almost inhuman. Stewart crossing that invisible line sent shockwaves through liberal circles. What he said felt almost impossible to believe. Honestly, it's a lot to process. Let's break it down. Here's the crux. Longtime progressive favorite Jon Stewart recently stunned liberal audiences by defending Joe Rogan. Rogan has long been a thorn in the side of the progressive establishment, calling out hypocrisy and challenging liberal leaders in ways few dare. Instead of engaging with his arguments, many on the left demonized him, labeling him dangerous, spreading misinformation about his content, and using him as a political punching bag. The real surprise came when Stewart refused to join the protest against Rogan and instead supported his right to free speech. The unimaginable had happened. One of the most revered liberal voices had stepped off the expected script.
Been on Rogan a couple of times?
Yes.
What did you think of that experience, being on Joe Rogan?
I enjoyed being on Rogan. I think he's an interesting interviewer. There are right-wing, weaponized commentators whose sole purpose is to manipulate things to the benefit of the Bannon Project or the Project 2025. Rogan's not that guy.
What is that guy? How would you
That
describe
guy
him?
is a curious comic who fell into this thing that got enormous, maybe doesn't, has opinions all over the political spectrum, but has tendencies that people on the left does not fit the aesthetic.
Honestly, it was impressive. The interviewer was clearly trying to trap Jon Stewart into attacking Joe Rogan, but Stewart handled it with the calm precision of a seasoned comedian who knows the game all too well. For years, Rogan's name has been weaponized by many on the left, labeled everything from troublesome to Nazi, simply for challenging liberal orthodoxy. The question was designed to corner Stewart, to make him repeat these unfounded attacks. But Stewart saw through it. He noted that Americans are growing weary of the term Nazi being thrown around to silence dissent. Its repeated misuse has drained it of meaning, and attacking anyone with a differing liberal viewpoint only widens divisions instead of fostering dialogue.
Hunter,
he's had people on who are kind of Nazi curious. That's not good.
I've interviewed Kissinger. And he was carpet bomb curious.
Yeah.
I don't know what to say. It's very easy to castigate those where we're but he had an opinion a few years back that's, corrosive.
But the difference is when he was carpet bomb curious, you didn't say, oh yeah, that's all.
Stewart wasn't about to take the bait. When the interviewer cited the usual claims that Rogan spreads false information, echoing the talking points of the progressive elite, Stewart recognized the double standard immediately. Stories are labeled disinformation if they challenge a certain narrative, but are treated as fact when they align with it. Rather than follow the crowd, Stewart calmly highlighted the absurdity of labeling opposing viewpoints as dangerous lies. He reminded everyone that dissent and debate aren't crimes, they're essential to a healthy democracy. His refusal to condemn Rogan wasn't just measured restraint, it was a quiet act of defiance against a culture that confuses truth with control.
What happens with Rogan sometimes is he'll hear somebody that's on the dangerous end of the spectrum, and he'll just kind of soak it in.
And this is, I think this is a great point. And it's whose ever job who thinks that that information is dangerous, to fight to get their point of view out there to counter what they think is misinformation. You can't just deputize people to say he should have known better and he should have prosecuted that point.
But the reality is, John, is that it might be my job or the New York Times job or even your job, but I don't have the audience that Joe Rogan does.
Then get it.
Yeah,
Then find
get
people
it.
who do. Then go on that.
Jon Stewart makes a strong and timely point here. If liberals genuinely believe conservatives or centrists are spreading false information, why not present evidence and debate it openly? In a free society, argument functions this way. Yet, too often, the response from the left is to cancel, or demean anyone with a different viewpoint. The goal isn't to engage, it's to make opposing voices disappear. Stewart's critique goes straight to the heart of the problem. Good ideas don't need censorship to survive, but deplatforming has increasingly become the default tactic for those unwilling to debate. Stewart exposes the irony. The people who claim to champion tolerance and open-mindedness are frequently the first to shut down anyone questioning their narrative simply by asking for free speech and transparency.
Do those things like that. It's not acceptable to just say, well, I don't like what he does. Then do it better, beat them at their own game. It's not enough to just complain that that guy got a platform and don't platform that guy. There's no one in this world right now that isn't platformed. And my biggest frustration, honestly, with a lot of scientists is they all go, RFK, oh, he's so up, that's terrible information. Oh, okay. What's the information?
He's calling out a pattern. Conversation is being replaced by cancellation, and dialogue is being replaced by dismissal. According to Stewart, this growing hostility toward differing opinions is tearing the country apart. He argues that honest, even awkward, conversations are far more effective for building unity than avoidance or suppression. Conservatives and centrists should be seen as fellow citizens with different perspectives, not as enemies, if the left truly values progress. Stewart's message is simple yet powerful. Yelling at one another won't repair divides or restore trust. Listening, even when inconvenient, is the first step. And coming from someone who has spent years shaping discourse across the political spectrum, his call for understanding carries a rare credibility. Of course, Stewart's stance didn't come without backlash. Many on the left criticized him for challenging the prevailing approach. But his argument remains clear, grounded, and essential for anyone hoping to bridge the current divide.
People in my family that are to the right of Attila the Hun, and when people tell me like, how can you platform that person on your show? I go, I platform my uncle every Thanksgiving. And by the way, I love him. He's a three-dimensional human being who has qualities that I really admire. Things about him, and we've lost that. We've lost the ability to love people because we litmus test at every point.
Jon Stewart has been making this point for some time. The left, he argues, has grown so committed to its own ideology that it often refuses to listen to opposing perspectives. Moral certainty has replaced debate, and anyone who disagrees is quickly labeled harsh or disagreeable. Many progressives insist that allowing children to transition genders or permitting biological males to compete in women's sports or use women's spaces is a clear-cut human rights issue. But in doing so, they frequently overlook the real emotional struggles, anxieties, and frustrations experienced by those affected by these policies. Stewart isn't advocating for picking sides. His message is about recognizing the universality of empathy. True compassion doesn't ignore complexity. If one group's rights matter, then so do the concerns of the other group. To claim otherwise is conceit disguised as moral virtue.
Fassler says on X, quote, "We've come so much closer to solving racism in America. White people realize the nice relatives they sit across from at Thanksgiving wouldn't be so nice to them if they weren't white." And writer Josh Olson says, quote, "The right wants to take basic human rights away from multiple members of my family and other people I love. No one who shares those views is welcome in my home or my family, ever. Jon Stewart is so wrong on this.
He's right. Anyone open to honest dialogue has appeared on Joe Rogan's show. Rather than serving as a partisan echo chamber, Rogan's platform has consistently welcomed politicians, scientists, comedians, and everyday people with a range of opinions. Yet his much anticipated interview with Claire Harris never happened, and the reasons are clear. According to reports, Harris's team grew uneasy during a lengthy, uncut 3-hour session, worried that sound bites or pre-approved talking points wouldn't protect her. Rogan even offered to adjust the questions to make the conversation more comfortable, but she refused. This wasn't confidence, it was fear. Fear of being open, unfiltered, and authentic. Harris seemed caught off guard by Rogan's commitment to honesty over scripted responses. In the end, her decision not to participate left a larger impression than any broadcast she might have delivered.
Is a comedian and actor and game show host who is curious and started doing this podcast where he platforms, even that word is so getting to be so annoying. He interviews, has conversations with a wide variety of people, from people on the right, the very far right, to people on the very far left, including Bernie Sanders. This is one of the biggest shows there is. The audience is massive. If Kamala Harris had availed herself of the opportunity to be on it and do a good job, it would have helped her. She lacked, I think, confidence that she would do a good job, so she did.
Joe Rogan offers a wide range of perspectives and discussions, creating a platform unlike any other, one that blends centrist, right-wing, and leftist viewpoints. You never know where a conversation will go, and that unpredictability is exactly why millions tune in. His core audience stays loyal even when guests challenge or frustrate them. That's because Rogan's goal isn't to produce an echo chamber, it's to break one. The point isn't to confirm what you already believe. It's to test those beliefs against opposing viewpoints and see which ones hold up under scrutiny. In a media landscape where most shows preach to the choir, Rogan's podcast stands out as a rare space for genuine dialogue. It's messy, unpolished, and often chaotic, but that's precisely its strength. It's not a lecture, it's a conversation. And right now, society could use a lot more of that kind of discussion.
Every single Rogan episode or interview takes the conversation in exactly a direction I would or I like, but that's fine. It's not exactly for me. It's for a wide swath of real Americans who have confusing views and views that are all over the place, that have right-wing views on social issues and left-wing views on economic issues, or vice versa. And David Remnick was like, well, this is Nazi adjacent. Well, yeah, people have Nazi-adjacent views out there, and you could no longer just ignore this kind of speaks to what I talked about in my radar. We no longer live in a world where there's a small number of TV channels and a small number of book publishers.
Bill Maher often reminds us that the best way to confront bad ideas is not to silence them, but to improve the conversation. Ignorance can't be erased through censorship. It must be exposed, challenged, and refuted with logic, evidence, and reason. That's the essence of a healthy democracy. Removing conservatives or centrist voices or canceling them isn't the solution, even if leftists genuinely believe they are spreading false information. The answer lies in engagement, having honest discussions, presenting stronger arguments, and letting the facts speak for themselves. Yet, too often, the left chooses avoidance over participation.
Effectively keep views that you think are too extreme outside of that you can keep them out of being discussed. You just can't do that anymore. The internet has made that impossible. So the reality is you're going to have to live alongside with people who are spouting views you don't agree with and find out how to. And some of these views are very dangerous and should be argued against, but you have to actually do that work, do that labor. You can't just say it's wrong to engage them.
Pretending opposing viewpoints don't exist doesn't make them disappear. It only deepens mistrust and division. Discourse, messy, uncomfortable, and challenging, is essential for a free society to maintain intellectual integrity. Jon Stewart's defense of Joe Rogan isn't about politics, it's about principles. It's a reminder that the cornerstone of any thriving society is free speech and open communication. Silenced opinions don't vanish, they are merely pushed underground. Stewart's stance, echoed by voices like Bill Maher, urges the left to move beyond cancel culture and reconsider the practice of demonization. Dialogue, not repression, drives true progress. Regardless of how you feel about Rogan, defending his right to speak protects everyone's right to be heard, a principle that was once central to genuine liberalism. That wraps up today's video. If you enjoyed this discussion, please hit like and subscribe to the channel. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you again soon.